As lawmakers battle over ways to balance the state's upcoming fiscal year budget, one group is urging them to make reforms that will save billions of dollars. Advocates for criminal justice reform are pressing lawmakers to approve a series of bills that they say will save the state around $2 billion and avoid having to build expensive new prisons to house all the new inmates.
Oklahoma has long led the nation in the number of women it puts in prison. The state is now ranked second in the nation for the overall number of people we lock up, with predictions that we're headed for number one next year.
Oklahoma does not want to be number one for state incarceration rates. It's an embarrassment, and we should not be any part of that.
Former Speaker of the House Chris Steele is leading the effort to reform the state's criminal justice laws to stop putting people in prison for nonviolent crimes.
There's about 10 bills left that are part of the governor's justice reform initiative that were developed by the task force that need to make it through the finish line. They're currently in conference committee.
Steele says those bills address chronic problems in state laws that have swelled the prison population to 109% of capacity, with more than 62,000 people in the Department of Corrections system.
They have to do with habitual offenses. They have to do with creating a new category for burglary that's not a part of a home. And they have to do with sentence reform.
During a rally at the state capitol to build support for the bills, two women told their stories of how they ended up in prison for nonviolent crimes.
I became a drug addict at the age of 12 years old, okay? A needle addict at 13. Can I tell you, drugs ruled my entire life. And in the midst of it, I tried to become a mom.
Rhonda Bear describes herself as a horrible drug addict.
A lot of times I turned to crime because it was a way to get money in my pocket.
Bear has been out of prison and drug-free for 15 years. When she got out of prison, unlike many others, there was help waiting.
I had somebody meet me at the gate who decided to help me. I ended up getting in a transition home. I got into recovery meetings.
Bear now runs several transition homes and 2 coffee shops in Claremore that hire women just out of prison. Lori Souders told the crowd she was addicted to drugs for 32 years. While she got away with it for many of those years, that changed in 2000.
I got out of prison. It wasn't a week, and I was right back to what I did, okay? And I ended up going back to prison and finishing that sentence.
Souders says there was nothing in prison that helped her stay clean once she got out. So she kept going back to drugs.
So I got out, and a few years went by, and I'm back into trouble. Okay, and now I'm a proud, grateful participant of drug court in Pottawatomie County.
All right.
And it has totally changed my life.
Souders has been clean now for 6 months. The business community also supports the reform bills. Cynthia Reed is with the Greater Oklahoma City Area Chamber of Commerce.
In the next 2 years alone, if incarceration maintains its current growth, we will need to spend another $850 million building new prisons. And that is not the way we all want to spend our money in Oklahoma.
Others urge lawmakers to pass the reform bills because of the ongoing impact on families from sending so many people to prison. Joe Dorman is CEO of the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy.
We see 1 in 10 children either have had or currently have a parent in prison. We must do a better job of getting these families the help that they need so the mothers and fathers can be there for their children.
This series of bills will not solve all of the problems with the current criminal justice system. One issue that has plagued the state for decades remains unaddressed. Different sentences for the same crime depending on which county a defendant comes from.
Right now we're giving women just like me life sentences. Let me just tell you, Delaware County, life sentences for failing drug court. Are you kidding me? That is $1,170,000 per woman.
The inconsistency among sentences given for the same crimes across the state is an issue that needs to be dealt with. It's not a part of these current reforms, but I suspect that if we can be successful with these reforms, that will be a reform that will be dealt with in future years.
Oklahomans for Criminal Justice Reform are attempting to get a message across to lawmakers who are faced with growing pressure to fix the state's billion-dollar budget hole. That saving money by reforming the current system is a smart way to help fill that huge hole in the state budget.